And welcome back. And now we're along with John Smith with the Malden volleyball team. And John Smith, it's good to have you along with us today.
Yeah, it's great to be here, man.
Sure.
Thanks for asking me to come out. Appreciate it.
And we want to get some volleyball coaches in here and talk about volleyball here in Southeast Missouri and what's going on. And got some very competitive teams year in and year out here in Southeast Missouri. You know, we can go down the list: Notre Dame, Bloomfield, Bell City, Bernie. It seems like there's a great group of gals here in Southeast Missouri that do well at the state level, and you're playing out of the Boot Hill Conference down there in Malden, and got some wins under your belt this year. What's your record stand at now?
Varsity right now is 12-9-1. JV's 11-5. We're really trying to get into that conversation with those teams that you were talking about earlier. We're trying to, get Malden in that same conversation. So that's been the goal of the program, since I've been there for the last 3 years. So
Sure. And the Boot Hill Conference, not bad this year. South Pemiscot and also Kennett, pretty competitive down there this year.
Yeah, we're all three working really hard to try and beat each other. That's the goal every year. Kennett is a great team. It's always a good rivalry for us, and South Pemiscot's always definitely very competitive, and we always look forward to playing those teams. Those teams make us better, and we look forward to the chance to compete in the tournament here this next couple of weeks.
Sure, you got the Boot Hill Conference tournament coming up. It's going to be competitive. Had a match with Kennett in the last week or so, and failed to win that game, and that was going to decide probably who was going to get the second seed in that tournament. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we knew going in, again, Kennett is always, Malden Kennett's always a good rivalry game, and we kind of had the idea going in that whoever would come out of that on top would end up maybe taking the second seed, and if we did our job and won out the rest of the conference games, and it was a close battle. We went 3 sets with them, and ultimately we lost. I think it was 26-24 in the third set. So if things shake out the way we think they're going to shake out, we're looking forward to the opportunity to face them again in the conference tournament. So.
Sure, and I haven't kept up with South Pemiscot all that much this year, but I think they've got a couple girls that are pretty strong to where they're hard to deal with.
Yeah, they've got a new coach this year. Coach Wolverton has done a real good job with that program. They've got a really good record, and they've got a couple of strong players that have been varsity players for the last 3 years, and they're juniors. So a lot of experience against upper level competition, older girl competition, and they're a tough test. They're always a tough team to play when we play them.
Sure. And let's just talk about your girls this year. Kind of what's your roster breakdown? You got a lot of seniors this year. Or how does it all break down?
We've got 5 seniors, which is the most that I've had in the last 3 years. That we've typically had just a couple. But this year's been really interesting with our roster, because we've had the group of girls that are seniors that had been used to playing with the older groups that have graduated the last couple of years. And our group of juniors have kind of been used to playing with each other. We've got a big group of juniors. And so the challenge that my assistant, Coach Sokolova, and I have had has been trying to meld and get these two groups to work together. And because the older group has been used to working with their group, and the younger group's been used to working with themselves. And so that's been our challenge this year, is trying to figure out how both of those groups are going to work together and work together harmoniously.
Sure, and that's what it takes in volleyball. Volleyball is one of those sports that, I just watching volleyball, it's like, just being in, inches away from where you should be, or, your hand, your blocks at the net. It just takes one little, misdirection of the ball, and it costs you. And that's what
right.
The thing about volleyball, it's so unpredictable.
Right. Yeah. It's really, the mentality is you really have to trust your teammates to be in the spots that you think they're going to be in, and that only comes with playing with each other. And it's really hard, but it's really nice when you get a group that can do those things and kind of know where each other's going to be. And it's kind of like the movie Apollo 13, where they talk about, we got to know the tone in each other's voices, and we've got to know what each of us is thinking at the exact same time. a good volleyball team can do that. They know where their teammates are going to be. They know if they can't get to this ball, that they've got a teammate behind them or in front of them or whatever, and that just takes time and working with the same group of people, and when that comes together, it really is a fun thing to watch.
Sure. And you played in a few tournaments, and I'll tell you, those tournaments you play about 5-6 games in a matter of a day or so. So that's playing a lot of teams and in a short amount of time. So what kind of tournaments you played in this fall?
Varsity has played in the Dig for Life Challenge at Cape this year, and we also just got back last Saturday from the West Side High School Play Day in Jonesboro, and those days are always very hard, and I talk to the girls about endurance and stuff like that, because in that Dig for Life Challenge, I think we played 6 games in the span of like 26 hours, total, and it takes a toll on you, and it really kind of it shows you where you're at as a team and shows you what you can do, when you're tired, and what how hard you play, and the character of your team by the effort even when they're tired, and so those tournaments are nice in that aspect, because a lot of times, if you want to go deep into the state playoff or the conference tournament or anything like that, you're going to have to play a couple games in a night, and it's just kind of the way that the brackets are set up, and so they're always good experience for us to have as far as that goes. We're ready to play multiple games in the same night, and dealing with the physical as well as the mental fatigue that goes with that. So
sure. So a lot of games. Those are big tournaments too. They have how many teams playing that Dig for Life tournament?
I think
somewhere
there
around 50 plus,
48, 50,
or right around
50?
Something
like that. And a lot of volleyball goes on that weekend, that Friday and Saturday. So.
Sure is, yeah, a lot of volleyball. So, looking ahead, you got what, maybe 3 weeks left in the season?
We've got 4 total if you count the district tournament week. We've got a 3-game week next week, and then the next week's Boot Hill Conference tournament. And then we've got 1 game the next week, and then districts. So about 4 weeks here to get everything tuned up and ready for the district tournament.
Okay, now does Malden play out of Class 2 in volleyball?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Class 2, District 1.
Okay. So what teams are in that mix?
We've got us and Twin Rivers, and then Caruthersville, Hayti, Portageville, and Zenith.
Okay. So it looks like how you've stacked up against those teams so far that you'll be sitting pretty well, probably with a seed in that tournament.
Yeah, we've again, it kind of, we'll figure that out in a couple of weeks with the seed meeting, but we've set ourselves up well in that we have in the regular season met all those teams and have beaten them. So that puts us in a pretty good spot to where we should be at an advantage going into the tournament.
Sure, yeah, it'll be fun to see. Once that district tournament comes. Where is y'all's district tournament this year?
It's at our place. It's at Malden this year.
Okay.
So, looking forward to the hometown crowd being out and watching some good volleyball and supporting the Green Wave.
Sure, of course. And you've been in volleyball a couple years now? How long have you been there in Malden?
I've been coaching at Malden for 3 years. It's my 3rd year. So we've done. I feel like we've done a really good job. I've had Coach Sokolova's been my assistant for the last 2 years, and Coach Cohen was my assistant the first year, and even the junior high coach, Coach Hendricks, and Coach Sokolova is the elementary volleyball coach. We've really put an emphasis on trying to build the program all the way through, and it's been very beneficial. We're getting girls now that are much better prepared for varsity sports, and again, that's a testament to the work that's being done at the junior high and at the elementary level. Like I said, we're really working hard to try and make volleyball or make Malden a household name in the area with volleyball.
Sure. Got some talented kids coming through Malden. When it comes to even football, football's off to a pretty good start this year. Got a victory last night, and the baseball's been doing well. Basketball's coming on stronger here the past few years. So got a nice, pretty good group of kids coming through there Malden at this time. Yeah,
Coach Wyatt, Coach Harmon, Coach Sokolov, they're all, with their respective sports, they're doing very good work. We're really excited about athletics there at Malden.
Sure,
so.
It sure should be. And like to thank you for coming on today and talking with us.
Appreciate it.
And you're doing well the past few years. We wish you the best of luck going forward this year.
Thank you.
Just good luck with everything going forward.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's been a blast.
Sure. And that's John Smith, the Malden volleyball coach, and wish him the best of luck with everything going forward. So we'll take a break and be back with more coming up. And now we're along with Brad Bobo from the Athletic Department of Arkansas State University. And Brad, it's good to have you back with us this year.
Yeah, Tyler, it's great to be with you guys again for another year. And you'll start off by saying, appreciate the opportunity to visit with you guys on this program, but also, again, kind of thank you guys for what you do with us with YHCTV and the ability to let so many people see our football games each week. It's a huge benefit to us, and we thank you for that partnership.
Sure. We had some games already on this year. We got to see some big teams play, Brad. We got to see Oregon, Nebraska, and I think I'm leaving another big-time program out there, so we get to bring some big-time football to the viewers here on YHC.
Yeah, that's right. Anytime you start your season out in Eugene, Oregon, and see a team that is a legitimate contender for a national championship, and came home and took care of the Memphis Tigers, and then went out to Nebraska for one of college football's all-time best atmospheres. We were there when we were in Nebraska. We were their 320th consecutive sellout. They've sold out every football game in Lincoln for the last 50 years. And so to be a part of that atmosphere is always special. And then come home and pick up some momentum against Alcorn State last weekend before finally tonight started, the most important stretch of the season with Sunbelt Conference play. And, the ball game we play tonight in Jonesboro is a matchup that last year ended up being, even though it was the conference opener, when our conference season ended last year, essentially the game against Western Kentucky decided the conference championship. So who's to say it could do the same thing this year? So hugely important for us to try to get off on the right foot against the Hilltoppers tonight. Sure,
and you're coming off the Sun Belt Conference Championship last year, so a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement coming into this year, and you got to say that just adds to that with the hiring of Gus Malzahn, the former offensive coordinator for the national champion Auburn Tigers a few years ago. So that just adds to the excitement around ASU football this year.
It has. Things were kind of sky high with the conference championship and the job Coach Freeze did. And then 2 days after we wrapped up the conference championship, he got the Ole Miss job, and it was sort of a punch in the gut for our fan base. And a lot of people felt, well, there's not going to be a way to get the excitement back to the level it was at. It's just impossible. Well, there was a way. You go out and you hire Gus Malzahn, which nobody in the country thought you could do, and it took that excitement not only to that level, but maybe even higher. And you mentioned being the conference champions. That's not lost on anybody in our league. We're going to go through this next 8 weeks with a target on our back. And that starts against Western Kentucky. They've made no bones about it. Their coaches have been over there saying all week, hey, Arkansas State has what we want. That's the conference championship. And so you feel like to win that, you got to beat those guys. And so, we feel like that's probably going to be the message we hear for the next 8 weeks is, kind of being the hunted instead of the hunter. And that's okay. It means you have to do some things right to get in that position.
Sure. And the Sun Belt Conference made some waves early on this year already. Louisiana Monroe knocking off top 10 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks and put them out of the top 25 and went to the wire with Auburn and Baylor on the road. So the Sun Belt Conference is awful stiff.
Yeah, and the Western Kentucky team we play tonight defeated Kentucky in overtime too. So a couple of wins against the SEC. Our conference is already 4-1 against Conference USA, with a chance to go to 5-1 this weekend because Louisiana Monroe is a big favorite over Tulane. So, as we get better at Arkansas State, so does the rest of the Sun Belt Conference, and it's made this, I think, the most exciting conference race in the history of the league. I think it's going to be fun every week. I honestly think you're going to have a lot of teams just beating up on one another, and here in about 2 months, we'll just kind of see who the last one standing is.
Sure, it'll be exciting to watch, especially as we have those games televised here on YHC with the conference play of the Sun Belt Conference. Just talking a little bit about the team, Brad. I know the offense is bringing back some of the top names in Applin at quarterback and some of the position players are coming back, and talk a little bit about the team that's coming back this year.
Well, I mean, you mentioned offensively. You start with the Sunbelt Conference Player of the Year last year, Ryan Applin at quarterback. He has set or will set every school record for a quarterback. Matter of fact, he's less than 400 yards away from being the Sunbelt Conference's all-time leader in total yardage. So hopefully, even with a big game tonight, he may have that record. He's got a lot of his skill position guys back at wide out and running back, again with some young, talented guys mixed in. Some changes up front on the offensive line, but guys that are coming in and doing a good job there. In fact, did not give up a sack in the first 4 ball games of the season. You know, defensively, a ton of young guys on defense, but they're talented young guys who I expect to get better as the season goes along. You know, sometimes we've seen some weeks where they get better as the game goes along. So, you know, with a new defensive coordinator, but a guy as experienced as John Thompson, you know, we've already seen that unit on defense get better. A, as they get more experience, but B, as the coaches sort of learn the personnel and get guys in the position they want them in. There's no reason to think that the defense will just kind of continue to build momentum as we get into conference play here.
Sure. It'll be exciting to watch, see how this team develops over this year. A lot of new faces out there, so it just takes a repetition to get those guys in sync with the rest of the team. So we'll be seeing how that develops for the remainder of the year. And, Brad, let's talk about the other fall sports going on. I know we got many fall sports going on at this time, so just touch on those.
Sure, we got it's a big weekend here just beside football on Friday night. Friday afternoon and Friday night, soccer and volleyball both had home matches. Then on Sunday, soccer and volleyball are both at home again. Our soccer team, as of right now, when we're speaking, is undefeated at home this year. Volleyball is too, but the volleyball team's only played 1 home match, and they swept Memphis in that home match. I know they're anxious to get into conference play. You know, in volleyball, we've won the Western Division title the last 3 years in volleyball, so a lot of success to build on with a new coach. In volleyball, David Rear, who won a couple of national championships at Lynn Junior College, so he's off to a nice start here at Arkansas State. Then, you know, other teams competing, you know, our cross-country teams have been in some competition, as well as our men's and women's golf teams. In fact, in women's golf, they played 2 tournaments. They finished second in each. And just this last week at the tournament up in Lawrence, the University of Kansas hosted the tournament. We had a freshman, Abby Locke, win medalist in that tournament. So good start to the year even for women's golf as well.
Sure. A lot of excitement on the campus there at Arkansas State, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how all the sports end up here in the fall. And it's been very exciting. I know a lot of success across the board from the athletic department last year in Jonesboro.
It is, and you know, a lot of other excitement, you know, with facilities announcements, and football is in the midst of fundraising to build a $22 million indoor practice and operations facility. You know, we have a brand new athletic director who's just getting into place, and it's an A-State alumnus by the name of Terry Mohajer. So a lot of exciting things happening. You know, not only can your viewers catch up with the Red Wolves and the replays each week, but certainly would invite anybody who's listening, to come to Jonesboro. Always a lot of incentives at our ball games, including this week. You know, our football game. Anybody 12 and under gets in free with a paid adult, or if you show up in either a boy or a Girl Scout uniform or a youth football uniform, you get in free, and you're getting $9. So lots of youth incentives for this week's game, but always keep up with what's going on with us. There's several ways to do it, and it's pretty easy to remember. You can check us out online at astateredwolves.com. You know, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/astateredwolves, or follow A-State Red Wolves on Twitter. We'd love to have anybody that's listening to us right now around northeast Arkansas and up into the Boot Hill of southeast Missouri. There's certainly room for you on the A-State bandwagon, and we'd love to see you down in Jonesboro.
All right. Well, Brad, we appreciate you spending some time with us today, and we'll look forward to talking with you down the road as A-State has more success this fall.
All right. Thanks for the time, guys. Enjoyed visiting with you.
All right.